I'm thrilled to have with us Kelsa Zereski, who is the president of the Reliant Foundation. Welcome, Kelsa.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for having me on.
So you have been very busy. Some changes in the Reliant Foundation, which has been around for 30 plus years?
Yeah, 30 years, yeah.
30?
So we've been around since 1988, and we were the charity of Fallon Clinic, which then became Reliant Medical Group. And last year, when there was a transaction between the medical group and Optum Health, our charity was separated out as an independent nonprofit.
Right, so because Reliant had been a nonprofit, and then Optum, which is a for-profit healthcare, bought it. That required the Attorney General a split, right? And Reliant Foundation is kind of now out on its own.
Yes, so we are out on our own, but the good news for the community is that we're completely focused on two of the top public health issues in the community, and that's the opioid epidemic and children's and youth mental health.
Right. And do you want to talk a little bit about how you're engaged in that and kind of making impact?
Yeah, definitely. So though we went through a huge transition last year, our mission remains intact. And our mission is to positively impact the health and well-being of individuals of all ages, not only in Central Mass, but also in a part of Metro West that heads out to Natick. And we do that by looking at the public health issues, by me personally visiting all of the nonprofits working on these issues, and trying to determine what are the greatest needs. And what keeps coming out of each community health assessment is the opioid epidemic. Right. 80,000 people lost in our country last year, 2,000 in Massachusetts. And the trauma in young children, sometimes tied to the opioid epidemic, sadly, losing a parent or a loved one.
And friend, sister, brother,
yeah. Just it's everywhere. I can't think of a person not affected by it at this point. So, we're trying to reduce stigma, we're trying to educate people, we're also trying to do some prevention work in the schools by granting to charities that go into the schools and present programs. So we're doing a lot on that issue.
And in many instances, it's not kind of creating these programs. Oftentimes there are good organizations out there that are working on their own or partnering with others, but to take it that extra mile, that's where a foundation, Reliant Foundation, can come in and help, extend that impact, that education, that outreach.
Absolutely. So we are blessed to have been in receipt of some of the funds, some of the proceeds of the transaction between Reliant and Optum last year. And those funds are restricted to make grants to nonprofit partners. So there are wonderful organizations out there like UInc and Children's Friend and Wayside Youth and Family Services, SMOC, there are so many. And the Shine Initiative, they're doing incredible work. And what they can do is apply to us for funding on October 1st, and then we do a round of community grants. We're looking for those grants to impact those top two issues.
Right. And we talked about the opioid and the other issue.
Children's mental health.
Children's mental health. So that's where Shine and UInc and those groups come in as well. And unfortunately, we see some overlap between the two as well.
We do. Yeah, there's a lot of linkages between the two, one sort of causing the other. The opioid epidemic certainly affecting children in their households, in their neighborhoods, or among family. Children witnessing trauma directly or indirectly. And then sort of a different issue in our youth and our adolescents today. There's just a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, a lot of pressure on our youth these days. And we're trying to reach out through the charities that we work with to make sure that our youth are reached as well and that we're strengthening them.
And you mentioned, through the transaction when Reliant acquired Optum, some dollars went into the foundation, but that's not enough to do what you do. So you're also trying to raise funds to kind of build an endowment that then you can then invest in the community. So you do that in a variety of different ways. There's a golf tournament coming up and ways for people to give.
Yeah, so on May 20th, we have our 21st annual Drive for a Difference. Hope you'll be there.
Yeah, we'll have to book that.
And that is one of the ways that we raise a chunk of funds that really keep us going and allow us to do this important work. The funds we received are great, but they are restricted, so we still have to be able to operate, be out, personally visiting all of these charities and getting into the places so we can figure out how can we help. Right,
staff, administrative, and in the 2 minutes left, we've got, in addition to kind of leaving kind of the Reliant because of the acquisition, kind of going out on your own, you had to find new space, and you're our new neighbor. Welcome.
We are. Thank you. Hi, neighbor. We moved not once but twice, and we ultimately landed at 311 Main Street. We're very, very happy with our new space. Everyone's been super. It's right on Main Street. We're excited to be part of the whole, renaissance of Worcester. Excited about the Red Sox coming to town. We're very happy to be part of it. And it's right smack in the middle of our service area, so Worcester just makes a lot of sense for us.
Great. Well, good stuff, and we're thrilled to have you with us. And again, May 20th, Monday, May 20th at Pleasant Valley Country Club in Sutton, the 21st Annual Drive for Difference. And website? If people
Yes, so reliantfoundation.org.
reliantfoundation.org.